Let us start. Ruling the countryside. As we know that after the Battle of Buxar, the British they have got Diwani of Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. And how they get? They have a treaty. The treaty was known as Treaty of Allahabad. And Mughal Emperor granted them Diwani of these three states, Bengal, Bihar and Odisha. And I told you that when they were granted Diwani, now they were having the right to collect revenue. Diwani was to giving right to collect revenue, and for collecting revenue, the British they have to collect, and in this way they made different settlements. In this, first we will study about the permanent settlement. First we will discuss about permanent settlement. Many settlements were there which were made by them. Permanent settlement, it was introduced by Lord Cornwallis in 1793. As we know that after the Battle of Buxar, dual government was there, DRK was there, and British were collecting revenue, and Nawab he was looking after the administration. But after the famine, they were not able, because many peoples were there who were died in that, and crops was also not good, and British they decided that they should start some new settlements which can be convenient for them, which can be easy for them. And in this regard they started permanent settlement, and zamindars and rajas were supposed to collect the revenue. They appointed, as earlier they appointed resident. They appointed resident after the Battle of Buxar, but in permanent settlement they started zamindars and the rajas they were supposed to collect the revenue. They were the owner of the land. Amount was fixed permanently. There was no change. This system was in Bengal, Bihar and Odisha, and we know that these were the three states of which the British have got Diwani. This settlements, permanent settlement. In permanent settlement, the amount of revenue it was fixed, no change was there. And who were supposed to collect the revenue? They were zamindars and the rajas. What were the advantages? Advantages of permanent settlement. Zamindars remained loyal to the company, because now they were working. Zamindars they were working for the British company, so they were supposed that they will remain loyal, and company has a fixed income, as they have fixed the amount that every farmer, every peasant have to pay the fixed amount to the zamindar, and from zamindar they will collect that. So their income was fixed now. It was easy to deal some zamindar than many farmers. Zamindars they were having area under them, many villages were under them, sometimes 2 or 3 villages were, sometimes they were the villages were more than 2 or 3. Then it was easy. Then the British have to deal only the zamindars, they don't have to deal the peasant. So it was easy to deal some zamindar more than in place of many zamindars. Disadvantages, these were the advantages, and it was helpful for the British, but it was not helpful for the peasants. And we discussed it benefited the landlord, then the government. It was beneficial not for the peasant. To whom it was beneficial? It was beneficial for the government. sometimes the revenue was high. The revenue sometimes what was there, that it was fixed according to the land, but sometimes it was too high that people were unable to pay that. The landlord increased the area but did not have an interest in improving it. The landlord, as I told you, that sometimes the zamins are having 2 or 3 villages, but what happens, sometimes they were having more, that they want to collect to have more and more villages, but they were not paying any attention toward the problem of the peasant. The peasant had to take a loan to pay revenue. The peasant, they have to actually, the in the permanent settlement the amount was fixed and the peasant have to pay a fixed amount, but when they were not able to pay that, then they have to take some loan to pay the amount, which amount, the amount of revenue. And this system came into end in 1955. When this system came to end, permanent settlement, the system of permanent settlement, it was ended in 1955. After the independence, it was abolished. The Rayatwari system, it was introduced by Alexander the Rayatwari system and the permanent settlement, and next we will discuss about the Mahalwari system. All these were the system of collecting revenue. The names were different and some conditions were different, but all these were the 3 systems to collect revenue. The Rayatwari system, it was introduced by Alexander Reed. This system, which system? The Rayatwari system, it was introduced by Alexander Reed in Mysore. First, Rayatwari, this is an important question in exam, it can be asked, when was first, where was first Rayatwari system introduced? It was introduced for Mysore and it was introduced by Alexander Reed, and after that some amendments were there, some changes were there, and we can say that this system was developed. And who developed this system? He was Thomas Munro. And in this settlement, in which settlement? In the Rayatwari settlement, Rayatwari settlement was made with the cultivators directly. Rayat word was used for the cultivators, for the people living in a particular area, they were known as Rayat. And in this settlement, this system was made direct with the cultivators. Amount can be revised, as we discuss in permanent settlement. In permanent settlement, we were discussing that amount was fixed permanently, but what was in this? In this, the amount was not fixed, it can be changed, amount can be revised, and it depends on the quality of the soil. If the quality of the soil was good, then amount can be increased. If it loses its fertility or some changes were there in, or it can if the soil degrades, then the amount can be decreased. In Rayatwari system, amount was not fixed. What were the advantages? Cultivators were not at the mercy of zamindar. As in permanent settlements, the cultivator, they were on the mercy of zamindar. The zamindars, they used to exploit the cultivators, they used to exploit the peasants, and they want to take more and more revenue. And what was other advantage? The revenue was not fixed. 2 advantages are there. Main advantages are there, that the cultivators, now they were not on the mercy of zamindar. Actually, they have to pay directly. and the revenue was not fixed. Disadvantages: the revenue demand was too high. It was too high. Sometimes it increased 50%. The peasant had to pay in case of flood or famine also. It was depend on the quality of soil we discussed just now. But if any famine was there, any flood was there, we can say if any natural disaster was there, but the peasant, they have to pay in that case also. Mahalwari system. It was introduced in 1822. Mahalwari system. As I told you, that different systems were used. First we discuss about permanent settlement, and second we discuss about Rayatwari system, and Mahalwari system. It was also a system for collecting revenue. It was introduced in 1822. When Mahalwari system was introduced by Harold Mackenzie. Mahal was the group of villages. Group of villages was named as Mahal, and after that name it was named as Mahalwari system. And where it was introduced, for which province, for which region is what introduced? For Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh earlier was known as United Provinces. For Central India. Central India means nowadays Madhya Pradesh. It was known as Central Provinces at that time. Northwest Provinces, I told you that in Northwest Provinces these were Gujarat, and some part of Rajasthan was there, and some part of Punjab was also there, because they have, after the death of Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the British, they were able to conquer Punjab, and some part of Punjab was there, in which Mahalwari system was introduced. The demand was not permanent, just like the Rayatwari system. The demand was not permanent, but in Rayatwari system, cultivators, they used to pay directly. But in this system, as it was in permanent settlement, they appointed zamidar, and in Mahalwari system they appointed the headman of the village. The headman of the village, as we call gram pradhan, or whatever, who was the headman of the branch, sarpanch, it can be sarpanch. Then they used to collect revenue from the villagers, and after that they give it to the Britishers. What were the impact of revenue system? What were the impact? The farmers, they were exploited by zamidars, collectors, and the moneylenders. As we know that in permanent settlements, zamidars and rajas were appointed to collect revenue, and in Rayatwari system, some officials were appointed directly. They were appointed. No zamidars, no landlords were there. They used to pay direct to the Britishers. They were known as collectors and moneylenders. Who were the moneylenders? The moneylenders were the person to whom used to give those used to give money to the peasants whenever they need. They were known as moneylenders. Then they used to exploit for collecting revenue, sometimes to take back their money. Peasants had to mortgage their land or to sell some part of it, and peasants, when they were unable to pay revenue, then what they have to do? They have to take loans, and sometimes they have to mortgage their land to the landlords, and when they were unable to take back their mortgaged land, then they used to sell some part of their land, and in this way they also lost their land. High rates of revenue forced them to borrow money. Now the question is, why they used to take money? They used to borrow money? Sometimes the students ask, ma'am, why they used to borrow money? When they have to pay high rate of revenue and they don't have sufficient amount, then they used to borrow more money. The landlord had no interest in farms. They want to earn more and more profit, as it was in dual system, in dual government, that they were not taking care for the administration for the people. Just like that, the peasant, the landlord and the zamindar, they were not taking care of the peasant and their land. And what was their motto? Their motto was to collect revenue, more and more revenue. They used to collect revenue more than the fixed amount. Crops for Europe. Crops for Europe. England needed raw material in a large quantity. As we know that England has entered in modern age in 16th century. They were having industries, they were urbanized, but at that time India was in medieval period. So for running their industries, they need raw material, and in large quantity. This material was not available in England, so they need it. Actually, they were having industries, but what was wrong with them? That they were not having sufficient raw material to run their industries. That is why they were in great need of it. They forced cultivators to produce indigo, cotton, sugar, jute, oilseed, tea and coffee. These were the crops which were asked to grow here. The British, they forced the cultivators of India that they should produce indigo, cotton, sugar, jute, oilseed, tea and coffee. Sugarcane, because the soil of Uttar Pradesh, it was good for growing sugarcane. Then they introduced sugarcane in UP, wheat in Punjab, cotton in Maharashtra. Why they ask cotton? Because the soil, it has black soil, and black soil is good for growing cotton crops. So they ask the people of the peasant of, not people, the peasant of Maharashtra to grow cotton, and they used to collect all raw material from here and they sent it to England. Cotton in Maharashtra and Punjab, jute in Bengal, tea in Assam and rice in Madras. Plantation agriculture plantation agriculture and commercialization of agriculture were developed. Why plantation agriculture was there? Plantation agriculture, it was developed mainly in indigo, why is it here?